We develop software very differently now than we did when I started out as a developer more than 20 years ago. The changes that have happened, Agile, DevOps, and the move from project to product among them, have all involved increasing decentralization and increasing independence. Teams now generally release their own code, support their own systems, and decide how they're going to solve business needs. But the one role that has been more challenging to sort out, in my experience, has been the role of the architect. When I was building monolithic systems more than a decade ago, architects worked in a separate team, designing the architecture for the whole system, setting standards, and choosing which database, programming language, or deployment mechanism to use. There are several reasons why that doesn't work in modern engineering organizations. These decisions become a bottleneck, stopping teams from making progress, but also there is even less chance nowadays that a single decision will work for all teams. But what's the alternative? You can allow teams to make their own architectural decisions, either by assigning architects to work hands-on with those teams, or by making architecture a thing that people in senior engineering roles do, along with everything else. However, that can lead to a wide divergence in approaches. That can be risky. Are all the different data stores patched and up to date? It can also be a waste of effort, as many teams solve the same problems. Andrew's architecture advice process is the answer. Teams still have autonomy to make architectural decisions, but the process means that they must seek advice from people who are affected by the choice they make and from experts, which reduces the chance that teams will make decisions that conflict with one another, or at least that they will do so unintentionally, or that several teams have to solve the same problem. What I love about this book is that you can listen to the first few chapters and start using the process straight away, and I would encourage that, following Andrew's recommendation of starting small with a single team. However, the rest of the book anticipates that you may have difficulties and gives you a number of ideas for tackling those. After all, this is a small process that involves big changes. Because the real centre of what Andrew is proposing is that the architecture advice process can shape the culture we need, moving us toward an organisation that optimises for learning, autonomy, and a fast flow of value. This involves some people sharing the power to decide, which can be challenging. It also means others need to start deciding and being accountable for those choices, which is scary. But it's worth doing, because the people who can best realise that there is a significant decision that needs to be made, and the people who will bear the consequences of that decision, are the people in the teams that will build that feature. I was much more prepared to support my system in production once I could choose to move away from implementation choices that someone else had imposed on me. That meant choosing things that were easier to operate and where more people had relevant experience. I will be recommending this process and this book to clients because it is a much more complete implementation of things that have worked for me in the past. Let teams make decisions, make sure they talk to the right people, and then get out of their way. I think you'll be surprised at the effect this has on your organisation.